In a world where education is constantly evolving, how do we ensure the teachers stay ahead of the curve, equipped with the latest tools and techniques to inspire their students? The answer lies in continuing professional development, or CPD, a key to unlocking growth, innovation, and professional excellence. But how does one ensure that a training program qualifies for CPD? What's the process? What are the requirements? So in this video, we will understand the context of CPD. We will learn the process and requirements of CPD program application. What are the list of requirements for CPD program application? Let's start with the legal basis. We have the Republic Act 10912 or the CPD Act of 2016 that requires the continuing professional development as the mandatory requirement for the renewal of the professional identification card of all registered and licensed professionals under the regulation of the PRC. This includes teachers and other professionals. For teachers, we have Republic Act number 11713 or the Excellence in Teacher Education Act. Section 18 stated that coordination with the Professional Regulations Commission for the recognition or accreditation of its programs in compliance with the requirements for continuing professional development. So DepEd needs to have coordination with the Professional Regulations Commission for the recognition and accreditation of the DepEd's programs to comply with the CPD. Let us learn the key terms about CPD. CPD is continuing professional development. This refers to the inculcation of advanced knowledge, skills, and ethical values in a post-licensure specialization or in an inter or multidisciplinary field of study for assimilation into professional practice, self-directed research, and or lifelong learning. That's what we mean by continuing professional development. We have CPD credit unit. It refers to the value of an amount of learning that can be transferred to a qualification achieved from formal, informal, or non-formal learning setting, wherein credits can be accumulated to predetermined levels for the award of a qualification. So that is a value, the amount of learning that is transferred through formal, informal, and non-formal learning setting, like trainings or formal trainings. Next is the CPD program. It is defined as a set of learning activities accredited by the CPD Council, which equip the professionals with advanced knowledge, skills, and values in specialized in an inter or multidisciplinary field of study, self-directed research, and or lifelong learning. So there's a set of learning activities. So it's the program design, that's the training design that is accredited by the CPD Council. It is called the CPD program. CPDAS. The CPDAS, or the Continuing Professional Development Accreditation System, is the online platform adopted by the PRC for applications for accreditation as CPD provider of CPD programs and of self-directed learning. So this is an online platform for CPD providers to apply for CPD programs. And you can also watch this video. We have how to register in CPDAS if you are a professional, so that you can check the credit units that you have earned when you have attended training programs that have CPD units. So you can watch this video in our channel. The link is above. So NAEAP, the National Educators Academy of the Philippines, is a PRC accredited service provider. So the central office have been a CPD provider since the 2017, and the 16 out of 16 regional offices are also PRC accredited CPD provider. And this, as of this August, there are 112 out of 218 SDOs are PRC accredited CPD provider. So schools, when their SDOs are accredited CPD provider, schools can submit their NSET and training programs to the divisions to be applied for PRC accreditation. Now, if your SDO is not yet a PRC accredited CPD provider, your training programs in the school can be forwarded or applied in the PRC by the regional office. But it is the continuing improvement at the department that all SDOs will be a PRC accredited CPD provider, so that all NSETs, all training programs conducted in the school can be applied for PRC accreditation at the SDO level. So this is the status of DepEd SDO's application as PRC accredited CPD provider. So you can see there who are accredited, who are ongoing, and who are not yet accredited. So you can see the Region 8 has all accredited division offices, while the rest are still ongoing their application. So these are the list of requirements for CPD program application. So if you have a training program and you want it to be accredited in the PRC, you are going to submit these requirements. Number one is the certification of quality assurance by the National Educators Academy of the Philippines. So your training program must have a quality assurance certificate. If your training program has no quality assurance certificate, you will submit it to the division or to the regional office for quality assurance. And there is a separate video that we have on the process of quality assurance of submitting the PD programs so that you can get the certificate. Once you have the certificate of quality assurance issued by the NAIAP in the region, as well as by the SDOs, you will also attach the application for accreditation of CPD program. This form is from the PRC. It is called CPDD PTR-02. Then you will also submit a sample certificate of participants and attendees, expected participants for your program. Then your instructional design, so that's the program design, using the form of the PRC, we call that a CPDD-16. Then you will have submit also a banner photo. So it's a tarpaulin. It's a form of tarpaulin that shows the title of your program, of your training. Number 6, you also need to submit the program of activities. It's the training matrix showing the time, the duration of the topics, the workshop, and who are the resource persons. Number 7, you will also attach evaluation methods or tools like the pre-test and the post-test of your training program. Number 8, you will also upload the resume of the resource persons, including the required attachment, that is their PRC license, which must be updated and not expired. So you're going to use the form CPDD-17. Of course, as I've mentioned, you also need to attach this valid professional identification card or the receipt of renewal of the resource person. So attach po yan sa CPDD-17, and the financial plan or the breakdown of expenses using the prescribed template pursuant to PRC Resolution number 1520 series of 2022. So it's just the financial plan. How many are the participants, and what are or how many expenses per participants, and how many days, and what are your expenses for the training materials and for the venue. You may access all the forms, this list of requirements and forms through this link, https://tinyurl.com/prc-pef. So there are prescriptive periods for the CPD transactions. So for example, we have here the transactions, the processes in the CPDAS. We have the filing of application for program accreditation. So when you are filing your program, your training program to be accredited in the PRC, you must pass or submit it at least 30 working days prior to the date of program offering. An application with complete and accurate requirements forwarded by the regional office to the CPD Council shall be evaluated and acted upon within 10 working days. So we are suggesting that when you apply for the PRC accreditation, you submit it 45 working days prior to the date of the program offering. Why? Because there are some requirements. There are incomplete submission. So within 45 days prior to the date of the offering, you can still complete and provide the accurate requirements so that within the timeline, you're going to get the program accreditation prior to the date of the offering. So kung mayroong mga pagbabago, mayroong complete or incomplete, at least you can still submit it on time. Then the processing of applications, including the review and checking of submitted documentary requirements, is within 3 working days from the receipt of the application. Note, only applications with correct and complete documentary requirements shall be forwarded to the concerned CPD Council. So take note, it should be correct and complete. The list of requirements that I've mentioned earlier should be complete. So the persons responsible is the CPD frontliners in the PRC regional offices. Then another transaction is action on applications forwarded by the regional office to the concerned CPD Council. So if, for example, you are a school and you have submitted it to the SDO, the SDO, if already a service provider, it is the SDO will submit it to the PRC, and the PRC will forward the action to the regional office, and it will be also forwarded to the SDO. For the CPD program, within 10 working days from the receipt of application. For the deferred applications, cite all the requirements found to be lacking, deficient when issuing deferment notice. Issuance of deferment notice can only be done once. So for the PRC, they will provide the requirements that found to be lacking if they are to defer an application for program accreditation. So the person responsible is the CPD council members in the PRC. The change of schedule, the date of program offering prospectively and or venue of an applied or accredited CPD program. So can be requested anytime before the council's evaluation of the program application, but not later than 5 working days before the date of the program offering. So we can reschedule. If you have submitted a program for accreditation and there was a change in schedule, you can only request that before the council started the evaluation of the program, 5 days, not later than 5 days before the date of the program offering. So any change can only be made once via CPDAS deviation as to the program date and or venue without CPD council approval will cause the revocation of program accreditation. So if there is no approval from the CPD as to the change of the date and the venue, it will cause the revocation. A request with no feedback 3 days prior to the date of offering is deemed approved. So if there's no feedback, that means it is already approved. If there was a request for change of date and venue. If you have questions regarding this video and this topic, don't hesitate to comment in our comment section below. Thank you and mabuhay ang mga guro.